So good morning, everybody. My name is Professor Larry Lee. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Very happy to see all of you here today. I'm also very happy to have with us two of our senior MAE students.
咁大家早晨，咁我係 Hugo， 同埋
我係 Yuki。
係啦，咁我哋今日咧就會同埋 Professor Larry 一齊啦，就進行呢個講座。咁就希望大家聽完呢個講座之後啦，就可以知道多啲關於我哋航空航天及機械工程學 MAE 學系嘅一啲內容咯。係啦，咁為咗令到大家容易啲理解啦，我就會用廣東話去進行嘅。咁 Professor Larry 就會用英文去進行嘅。
Yeah, exactly. So this will be bilingual. And just to recap what Hugo just said, hopefully by the end of this session, we'll give you a glimpse into what mechanical and aerospace engineering is, what our department has to offer you, and what we hope to gain from learning about your aspirations and goals. All right. So beginning with the topic of mechanical and aerospace engineering, I don't know about you, but when I encounter a relatively new topic and I don't know much about it, I tend to look on the internet. And nowadays, generative artificial intelligence, or AI, is fashionable. It's the hot, keyword. And so why don't we look up what the internet thinks mechanical and aerospace engineering is using a visual chatbot. So if you type in, what is mechanical and aerospace engineering? Let's see what it gives out. Dum, 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 dum. Oh no! Oh, what is that, Hugo?
完全錯晒！我喺 MAE 讀咗4年書，呢啲絕對唔會係我所學。
It doesn't reflect your experience at all, right?
係。
No. I mean, according to the internet, this picture of gears, in black and white, very mechanical, it's outdated, it's dirty, it's labor intensive. It's not what MAE is about. In fact, MAE is at the forefront of many of the transformative technologies that all of us will have to encounter in our lives. And that's what hopefully we'll try to elaborate on today in this session. Okay.
咁係啊，頭先 Professor Larry 就用 AI 問咗乜嘢係 MAE， 但係頭先出嗰啲完全都唔啱喎，完全都唔係咁污糟咁outdated 嘅嘢。其實MAE 學緊嘅好似呢張圖咁，其實係好先進、好廣泛嘅學識嚟嘅。
Exactly. In fact, mechanical and aerospace engineering is one of the broadest disciplines in engineering. We act as the bridge between fundamental science and applied real-world practical applications. So we take what we teach you in the classroom and you translate that to actual societal technology, something that can actually benefit the real world, benefit real people and real society. Amongst many fields in mechanical and aerospace engineering, we have transportation. Now this covers essentially everything under the sun. You're talking about things that move on the ground, including high-speed rail, obviously electric vehicles, which is very fashionable nowadays, to things that fly in the air, like urban air mobility, air taxis. These are some of the things that are coming up in the next few years or decade, and it's something that we all, as citizens of the world, have to know about, have to be aware of, and hopefully as engineers, you'll have a chance to be involved in design, analysis, and manufacturing of these technologies. And of course, I can't leave out our homegrown star. One of our students started up a company to build unmanned surface vehicles for the ocean, for environmental monitoring, for charting, and for surveillance technologies. But of course, yeah, go ahead.
係啊，咁其實係咪就超乎大家想像咧？即係其實可能未讀過 MAE 嘅人啦，就會覺得機械及航空航天工程就好似頭先一開頭所講咁原始嘅。其實唔係㗎，我哋 MAE 咧就包括咗，因為好似頭先 Professor Larry 所講啦，其實係好多唔同嘅生活範疇上面都可以見得到我哋嘅蹤跡啦。就例如有我哋嘅高速鐵路啦，例如有我哋嘅車啦、船啦，甚至係我哋嘅校友所建立嘅一個無人機技術，其實呢啲全部都係同我哋 MAE 有關係嘅。
Exactly. And looking ahead, carbon neutrality is a big theme, not just in Hong Kong, but around the entire world. And MAE is at the forefront of that initiative. We are actually playing a central role in developing various technologies ranging from the capturing and the deployment of renewable energy, including solar, wind, hydro, all the way to storing that energy, because what use is it if you can actually capture that technology, but you can't store it? So battery technologies, hydroelectric, etc. many of our faculty members are doing world-cutting, leading-edge research in that area. And we can't, of course, leave out sustainable materials. So, everything you see around you is made of something. And if that something can't be recycled or is very carbon intensive, then that will negate any of the benefits you make in the first two categories. So we also have to pay attention to making materials as sustainable as possible.
咁係啦，咁環保其實都係世界所趨啦。咁我哋學嘅嘢其實都同環保好有關係嘅，譬如要減碳啊，成日聽到減碳嗰啲。咁譬如我哋學嘅有例如呢三個啦，有再生嘅能源啦，有電池啦，同埋新嘅物料咁樣嘅。
Exactly. And maybe another area of MAE that you might not have anticipated is this, healthcare. Many of our faculty members work in the cutting edge of control technology, of robotics, of electronic design, of artificial intelligence and machine learning. All of that fundamental knowledge has to be integrated into an entire system, something that can be deployed accurately, reliably, and in this case, it will have huge direct societal impacts. And this is especially important for Hong Kong because, as we all know, our population is aging rapidly. So healthcare will play an increasingly important role in our future lives.
係啦，所以作為一個 MAE 學生，我哋學識嘅知識仲可以應用喺呢個就 healthcare 我哋嘅呢個工程上面啦。咁就從我哋呢個應用啦，我哋可以做到一啲技術，例如義肢啊，或者呢個遙控嘅呢個手術系統咁樣啦。咁當我哋就好咁利用我哋嘅知識嘅時候，呢個就係我哋未來嘅一個大趨勢咯。
Perfect. So thank you very much, Hugo and Yuki. So let me get on to, hopefully by now, I will have given you a glimpse into what MAE is not and also what it is, right? It is at the forefront of many of the transformative technologies that surround you, ranging from transportation to sustainable energy, to healthcare, and many more. I don't have time to go through in this relatively short period all the technologies that we're covering, but I just want to dispel any misconceptions that MAE, Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, is simply about gears and levers and dirty sort of labor-intensive work. It's not. We are actually at the forefront. We are participating in essentially every single aspect of the technological revolution that's surrounding you. So locally, looking at our program, we have essentially two bachelor's programs, one in mechanical engineering and one in aerospace engineering. At this point, I sort of sense that most of you have the following question, and that is, what's the main difference between these two programs? Well, let me begin by maybe talking about the similarities first, okay? So actually both programs have very similar structures up to about the second year. You are taught, there's a slide about our ranking, but we're not paying too much attention to our ranking. These things fluctuate every year. One thing that I would like to highlight is that we're consistently #1 in Hong Kong, and also consistently within the top 50 in the world, which is quite a remarkable achievement considering the small size of this city. Okay. I'll talk a bit more about this later. We'll have a lot of sort of smiley photos of our faculty members and our students, but I just want to get into our curriculum because I think some of you might be interested in that first. So the mechanical engineering and the aerospace engineering side, they're separate programs. We have two separate bachelor's in engineering programs for these two streams. And up to around second year, they're fairly similar. You're exposed to a variety of different fundamental engineering courses, ranging from aerodynamics, fluid mechanics, thermal fluids, to designing manufacturing materials, electronics, basic electronics, control principles, all this essential knowledge and science that you need to be able to make transformative differences later on, right? Then come the third year, that's where you guys start to diverge a little bit, all right? So for the mechanical engineering side, you focus more on more traditional mechanical engineering topics, whereas for the aerospace engineering side, you still focus on those topics, but there's a more sort of emphasis on how you apply those topics to aerospace applications. And this involves aeronautical engineering and astronautical engineering. So aeronautical engineering is basically dealing with engineering of vehicles within our atmosphere. So we're talking about airplanes, versus astronautical engineering, which deals with stuff in outer space. So satellites, spacecraft, rocket engines, that sort of thing.
咁其實我哋科大 喺我哋嘅 MAE 嘅課程啦，咁就 total 嘅課程就大概會4年嘅，係啦。咁我哋第一、第二年左右啦，其實我哋機械工程同埋航空航天工程呢兩個領域咧，其實我哋學嘅嘢會大致相同啦，因為其實就係關於一個機械工程嘅一個好 basic 嘅一個基礎先。咁除咗機械工程嘅 basic 啦，我哋仲會牽涉到少少，例如其他 discipline 嘅一啲 basic 啦，例如少少電子工程學啊，咁就為大家建立一個知識基礎先。咁有建立咗呢個知識基礎之後，我哋第3年、第4年開始就會去唔同嘅領域就加深入啲了解啦。例如機械工程嗰邊就會可能會去了解下啲物料啊，而我哋航空航天工程就會知道多啲關於流體力學啊、飛機設計等等嘅。咁係除此之外，我哋仲會有一個 final year project 啦，咁就俾大家去學識點樣去利用自己學到嘅知識就 apply 落呢個現實度嘅。
That's a good point, Hugo. Talking about the final year design project. I was going to get to that later, but as we'll see, we are not just about hosting lectures unidirectionally from the lecturer to the audience. We have a range of different out-of-class extracurricular activities that can allow you to apply that knowledge that you learned in the classroom to real-life problems, real-life applications, which I'll talk about with Yuki and Hugo's help in just a few moments. But just carrying on this theme here, in each of these different programs, we have several options. If you want to maybe dig a little deeper, take a few more courses in these disciplines, then you can also do that. And by the way, all the information that I've included on this slide is available on our website, which I'll show you later, but you can just search for HKUST MAE on any Google sort of search, and we should pop up. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that getting an education is not just about sitting, in a classroom like this, listening to lectures. We're all about the holistic human experience. So ensuring that when you graduate out of here, you're a well-informed global citizen who also has engineering skills, right? And one of the key things that in our department we try to emphasize is internationalization, a global outlook. We have many mechanisms to fulfill this, one of which is our exchange programs. All our students have the opportunity to spend a semester abroad in various countries. We've gone to Europe, America, you name it, Australia. So we have partnerships with hundreds of different universities around the world. And what students can do when they go abroad for a semester is take courses, expose themselves to new cultures, new languages, new people, forming global connections, whilst at the same time gaining credit that they can then transfer back to HKUST, so that their graduation is not deferred when they come back. All right? So this is one of our signature programs, and it's something that I hope, if you do join us, that all of you will sign up for. Another very important aspect of our education program is internship. So ensuring that you, before you graduate, have some exposure to what it's like to work in industry. And both Yuki and Hugo have had extensive experience with this. Maybe Yuki, you can share a little bit about your internship experience.
咁我自己都有做過幾次嘅 internship 啦，咁都係 summer 時候做嘅，咁可能第一次會可能比較係 engineering department 啦，咁所以我就覺得可以即係將我平時學緊嘅嘢，即係喺可能喺航空業嗰度運用翻出嚟啦。但係第二次可能就會做可能第二個 department 咯 business 啲，但係我覺得咁樣嘅機會都好好嘅，因為咧可以俾我知道原來呢個航空業有好多其他 position 其實都可能好關我事嘅咁樣。
係啦
Wonderful.
係。
And what about you, Hugo?
係，我都想講下就係我好認同頭先 Yuki 講話俾我哋 explore 下呢個現實上面有啲乜嘢唔同嘅工種。其實就唔止我哋航空航天工程啦，甚至機械工程其實都有 apply 到嘅。就係我哋要學識知道我哋學校以外啦嘅呢個世界係點樣啦。咁就 explore 下我哋呢個未來，始終我哋畢咗業都會有好大機會出嚟做嘢啦，係啦。對於大多數人嚟講，所以就我哋要知道我哋未來有啲咩工種，知道嗰個 duty 係咪真係我哋所想嘅，先至可以預早做一個我哋嘅生涯規劃咯。
Well said, both of you. And it sounds like you both had a very enjoyable time at your internship. It was a lot of fun, but also educational at the same time. So these internships, if you're wondering, are around 5 weeks long, and they're typically taken during the winter or summer breaks. If you want to take a more structured industrial placement, we have another program called Co-op. Now this is where you spend a significantly longer period of time, around 5 months, embedded in a company. And typically these are companies that we find for you, and we'll arrange the interviews. You'll obviously have to prepare for the interview, and if you're accepted, you get to go into the company, spend 5 months there, and you gain actually some credit back towards your degree. In the past, we've had collaborations through co-op with a number of different companies, both locally and abroad in mainland China and overseas. And it's something that I think a significant number of our students take up, because it just enriches the education experience. It allows them to see what their future prospective career might look like. Because let's be honest, right? If you take engineering and you go through about 3 to 4 years of it, not all of you will find that engineering is right for you. Okay, and that's just the honest truth, right? So this allows them to have a taste of what engineering is like, and they maybe decide later on what they want to do afterwards when they graduate, whether they can change industries or do further studies, or maybe look into starting their own company, which many of our students actually do. Do you guys have anything to add?
我覺得就都差唔多啦，係咁可能我哋就繼續。
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I mentioned we have 2 programs, mechanical and aerospace engineering, and so there are a lot of similarities, but some differences, with the aerospace program being tailored towards applications in aircraft and spacecraft. Now, for those of you, and this will probably be the majority of you, who are interested in more traditional mechanical engineering, but yet have this innate interest in aircraft and aerospace design, fear not, because we've thought about you, all right? We have offered a minor program in aeronautical engineering that's available to our mechanical engineering students and other disciplines as well, okay? And in this, you just take a few more courses on top of your conventional bachelor's in mechanical engineering degree, and you'll get a minor in aeronautical engineering. And this allows students to have more exposure to the field and to better equip themselves for when they transition, maybe in the future, to working in the aviation industry, whether as an engineer or even as pilots. In fact, many of our students nowadays, especially with the resurgence in post-pandemic travel in Hong Kong, have entered the cadet program of Cathay Pacific and have gotten jobs. I would like to think partly because we've offered a really, really good aeronautical engineering program.
係啦，如果咧大家對於航空航天工程係一個非常有興趣嘅，其實就唔一定話揀我哋航空航天工程作為你嘅主修科嘅，因為其實如果係有其他工程背景啦，甚至機械工程嘅背景啦，你都可以選擇我哋呢個航空工程作為嘅副修項目，咁就可以俾大家一個好一個俾大家就知道一啲關於飛機非常重要嘅知識理論咯。
Exactly. Okay. So I mentioned earlier the importance of out-of-class learning, and in our department we offer numerous platforms for you to do this if you're a student here. International competitions is one of the key platforms for this. As you can tell, over the years we've hosted and sponsored many of our students to go abroad, entering competitions, ranging from designing a powered wheelchair to airplanes, to a solar car, you name it, pretty much anything that is mechanical or aerospace related, we have competitions to cater to your interests. And just continuing on the theme of out-of-class learning, we've set up a number of student teams, one of which is the electric vehicle racing team, this EV racing team called Redbird Racing. And they were started only a few years ago, and it's quite remarkable because what they've been able to accomplish is to design, analyze, manufacture, and actually compete a car from scratch. They didn't buy, anything, they didn't buy a car from eBay or Taobao. They had to make literally everything from scratch. And so for that reason, I think all of us are really proud of their achievements. And because of the fact that they had to apply much of the knowledge, much of the fundamental science that we teach them in the lecture room to a real-life application.
咁我哋學校除咗即係讀書之外，即係仲有好多其他嘅 teams 好多隊伍好多比賽可以參加啦。譬如有呢一個 Redbird 就係俾電動車嘅比賽啦，但係佢哋真係由頭一手一腳咁樣砌，唔係真係買架車翻嚟嘅。咁我哋覺得呢啲比賽都非常之好啦，因為我哋 work as a team 即係一齊同唔同嘅人合作啦。我覺得 除咗即係喺 UST 度讀書之外，合作都係好重要嘅。咁樣嘅話，因為我哋之後就算出嚟做嘢，都可能有唔同嘅人要，可能有 senior 啦，有 lower 嚟嘅 junior， 咁大家一齊合作嘅話咧，咁呢個skills 咧，我覺得係比較重要嘅。
Anything to add, Hugo?
即係
Maybe what you should add about is this, because Hugo, if you don't know, was in charge of our AIAA student branch. This is an aeronautical-based society that hosts a number of different events. We've had industry info days, so this is where we invite all the aerospace-related technology companies in Hong Kong, including governmental organizations, to come down to our campus, to set up booths, to tell our students what career prospects are available, and to also try to understand our students a bit better. And in that way, we have a very close connection to industry. We can better understand what industry's needs are, and in turn, tailor our program, tailor our curriculum, so as to better suit the needs of industry. We also have, just one more thing. We also host exchange tours every year, and this is where we essentially gather a group of students who are interested, and we take them abroad to, in this case, South Korea, but we've been to mainland China, to Japan, to the United States even, in recent years, and that broadens their horizons, enhances their cultural understanding, and also instills in them an inherent global outlook. Hugo?
係啦，咁就係咯，我哋 MAE 入面有好多唔同嘅校隊啦。咁除咗校隊之外，我哋都會有好多唔同嘅學生組織嘅。咁就我就係呢個學生組織嘅負責人啦。咁我哋呢個組織就會就志在啦，係想連接我哋個學生去我哋唔同世界各地嘅呢個航空業入面嘅，就知道唔同世界航空業其實係做緊啲乜嘢咁樣啦。咁我哋點樣可以做到呢個效果啦？我哋就有做一啲呢個叫做一個。點樣講咧 ？career booth 之類嘅。
Yeah, like a career day.
Career day.
But tailored towards our departments, so mechanical or aerospace engineering.
係好似工作展覽咁樣，咁就俾大家去問翻相關嘅公司啦。咁除此之外，我哋都會有去做呢啲 engineering tour 啊，咁就大家去下唔同嘅地方，就睇下當地嘅呢個航空業嘅情況係點樣咯。咁除此之外，我哋都會有啲唔同嘅地方，我哋都喺香港呢個範圍啦，機場就睇下唔同公司從佢哋嗰個。睇下佢哋唔同公司嗰個工作環境啊，或者睇下唔同公司嘅嗰個工作機遇等等嘅。
And then maybe you can carry on with this, Hugo. Because this is also your baby. And Yuki's as well. Yeah.
係啊，咁其實我同 Yuki 咧都係嚟自 HKUST Aero Team 嘅。咁其實我哋同頭先所講嘅EV 卡都一樣啦，我哋都係學校其中一條校隊啦。咁如果大家等一陣出面見得到嘅話咧，出門口轉左。就會見到我哋呢架好七彩繽紛嘅呢架飛機掉咗喺度，嗰度就係我哋 MAE 嘅地方啦。如果大家想知道多啲嘅，到時候就去嗰度問下啦。咁我哋就講下我哋條天做乜嘢先。好簡單咁講就係我哋會砌飛機，砌完飛機之後，我哋會去到，但係多數時間我哋都會去美國比賽啦。咁去嗰個比賽就係關於點樣去用我哋嘅遙控飛機去 fulfill 佢哋嘅要求。
And all of this is really an important platform for students to actually apply the theoretical knowledge they gain in the classroom to a real-life application. Because you can study in the library all day, you can listen to lectures all day, but it's no use if you can't actually translate that to real-life applications. And so all of these platforms that you see in front of you are geared towards that. Okay, anything to add? No. Okay, sounds good. Let's go through it. Okay, so on top of the out-of-class learning, we have a mentorship scheme where we try to pair you up if you want to. Now, this is not mandatory, but we have a network, a very vast network of alumni in both industry and academia who can advise you on your career choices, on your career path, maybe help you make more informed decisions. Then, after you graduate, the bulk of you, I think around 85% of you, if history repeats itself, will go on to become engineers. And one of the highlights of becoming an engineer is to become chartered. And so with that, we work very closely with HKIE, the Hong Kong Institute of Engineers, to accredit our graduates so that they actually can gain engineering accreditations and perform tasks with more responsibility. Our graduates have in the past gained accreditation in a number of different disciplines, 5 of which are listed on there. I think the fact that we conform to 5 disciplines is a testament to how broad mechanical and aerospace engineering is. In fact, we cover everything under the sun. You name, going from aircraft to ships to mechanical, of course, and building services as well as environmental. So this highlights sort of the broad nature of our department.
係啦，咁其實大家想讀機械及航空航天工程啦，最後有一個目標，我諗好多時人都會想做一個專業嘅工程師嘅。咁我哋學校提供嘅課程啦，係會受到我哋香港工程師學會嘅認證嘅，所以其實我哋同學啦係畢咗業之後啦就可以 fulfill 呢個香港機械工程師嘅要求，就行呢個 MAE 嘅呢條路嘅。咁從呢條路啦，我哋就可以從飛機啊、呢啲海洋工程啊、機械工程啊、建築工程啊等等啦，咁就做一個受認證嘅專業工程師咯。
Anything to add, Yuki? Or you're okay for now? Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. So yeah, some of the career prospects. I'm not going to go through these in detail. I think you guys have some idea of this already. But obviously, for those even in mechanical, actually, not just in aerospace, but in mechanical and aerospace, you have the aviation industry, and that covers everything from maintenance to operations to piloting. As I mentioned earlier, in recent years, there's been a huge uptake of our students going into the piloting industry because Cathay Pacific are hiring cadets like crazy. So that's been a really popular route in the last few years. And we can't, of course, leave out the other modes of transport, including on land. You have EVs, you have buses, you have rail, MTR, and also you have ships, right? Where Hong Kong is a port, we have a harbor, so shipping is a crucial part of our industry. And there's been many research projects, many initiatives in recent years to try to make shipping cleaner, less carbon intensive, less dirty. Again, going with the theme of switching from the more traditional image of mechanical engineering to more transformative technologies, the new forefront of MAE. Okay, I'm just going to sort of cycle through this because I think you guys are pretty pressed for time. Renewable energy, right? Power generation. We work closely with CLP, Hong Kong Electric, etc. Looking at solar, wind energy, storing energy, distributing energy, deploying energy. So EVs, I mentioned earlier. Also fuel cells, which is another emerging technology. Well, it's not that emerging anymore, but it's emerging in the sense that it's being deployed much more widely nowadays with the cost decrease in catalysts and in membrane technology. And we in Hong Kong have a high concentration of buildings, high-rises, skyscrapers, and a key component of operating these buildings is their efficiency. So look, we're talking about air conditioning systems, sometimes even heating systems, lighting systems, and all of that requires a very delicate balance between how you operate or how much energy you consume and how comfortable the occupants are. So we have a lot of machine learning and artificial intelligence projects devoted to optimizing that balance. Okay, so I'm not going to go through these in too much detail because I know you guys are all pretty pressed for time. But one message I want to leave you with, and maybe Yuki and Hugo can reiterate this, is that going back to the original image that generative AI gave me when I asked it, what is mechanical and aerospace engineering? Is it just gears? Is it just levers? Is it very mechanical, dirty, outdated, labor intensive? Absolutely not. Mechanical engineering is much richer, much broader than that. We cover everything under the sun that moves. Anything basically that has a moving component is under the umbrella of mechanical and aerospace engineering. You're talking about things that move on the ground, cars, rail, flying in the air, urban air mobility, drones, ships, robotics, control systems, materials, manufacturing, anything really that you can think of has an MAE, mechanical and aerospace engineering component to it. All right, Hugo?
係啦，所以我哋就希望透過今日呢個講座啦，就俾大家知道，其實航空及機械工程學絕對唔係我哋頭先一開頭所講見到嗰個 ChatGPT 之類嘅人工智能所答嘅答案。其實我哋喺好多唔同生活嘅範疇，例如我哋嘅工程學、生產、物料、航空，全部呢啲都係由我哋機械航空工程、機 機械及航空航天工程學嘅知識所構成嘅。所以其實我哋MAE 嗰個應用範疇其實係嗰個範圍其實好大。
Exactly. Yuki, want to say any final words?
係啦，咁頭先professor 都講咗啦，我哋讀完 MAE 之後個 career prospect 都好多啦。頭先雖然好快咁飛咗咁樣講啦，但係可能讀 AE 嘅可能可以喺機場可以做維修，可以做 pilot， 或者 ME 嘅可以喺 building 嗰邊有多啲嘅發展，或者其他 local 嘅 transport 都可以有呢嘅發展咁樣。咁所以我覺得如果有啲咩可能課程上嘅問題啊，或者頭先有啲 exchange program 啊、internship 嗰啲，其他好多資料都可以喺呢個 QR code 嗰度 website 嗰度就可以見到㗎啦。
Exactly. If you want more information about us, you can find us online at that website. There's a QR code, and we also have a booth just outside this lecture theatre. Thank you very much for joining us
所以
today.
大家記得去我哋個 booth 度睇下，了解多啲關於我哋啦。
Yeah.
好，咁
And
唔該
hopefully
晒
we've
大家。
transformed your image of